There. I don't want you guys to be bored, so I've got this second, it says it's a quiz, it's not a quiz. This is just because some of you really bombed the one from last time, the quiz, and so I made a new one that we could go over sort of together. So just, if you're bored, you could do this one, this second one, and enjoy it. And I'll collect the first one, quiz 9, I'll collect that one, but I'm not going to collect this one, the one that's called quiz 8. I thought you might enjoy doing it. Some of you, it's not going to be a problem. You know what you're doing. Ready to roll. That's good. This one's for me. Good job, good job. I'm not rushing you, I hope. Yes? Oh, because I cut and pasted too much. Just get rid of the dollars. Yeah, sorry about that. I cut and pasted from the one I just did there. Was in dollars. I just changed some things and I forgot to get rid of the units. But I suppose you might say that someone has $120 IQ. Maybe. For me, it is. That's it for me. Nice. All right, good job. Keys and dollars. Fix that. All right, what do you think? You all right? All right, here, I'll let you have this and you want something. Is this your quiz 9 here?
Yeah.
think, I mentioned that to someone, it was probably a bad move to have two different quizzes that were the same size and shape. Next time I'll have to do different colored paper or something if I do this again. But I think I've got them all. Oh, I just stapled them. Quiz 9. Quiz 9? Okay, let's do this. So let's talk about quiz 9, then we'll go over to quiz 8B. And I'll explain why I felt the need to do this. So first of all, quiz 9, pretty easy. You could count those. There's eight items in the sample space. Hopefully everyone got that one right. Next one, the event of two heads. How many ways can you have exactly two heads? Well, I can highlight them up here. There's 1, 2, and 3. So you can actually count them, exactly two heads. There are 3 ways. And so the probability of having exactly two heads is actually 3/8. If you flip a coin 3 times, there's a 3/8 chance of getting two heads, interestingly. Okay, so there's that one. The next one, this business about statistical significance, and this is the whole reason why we care about probability when we're doing statistics. It's because almost everything we do after the break we'll be referring to p-values. I showed you that paper, the one about having to go to the bathroom, and that going to the bathroom hampers your ability to remember things. You've probably experienced this. I don't know. I have, that's for sure, where it's like I've got to go and it's like my brain isn't working. But anyway, the p-value, so the probability that something is just by chance, kind of like that card trick, if it's too high, then we're not impressed. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a small p-value, because if the p-value is small, it means that it's probably not by chance that you're seeing what you're seeing. It's probably that there's something really going on. And so that's the comparison here. All that we really need is this. The probability of this happening by chance is 26%. That's a little bit more than 1/4. And the question is this statistically significant at the 0.5 level, 0.05 level? And because that 26% is way bigger than 5%, it's not statistically significant. I know you had a 50-50 chance, right? Well, there it is. It's not. That's the idea. But you'll get used to this. Don't worry. I know this is like the first time I've got a quiz like this. You had a little bit of this on your homework. But in the future, we're going to be using this idea a whole bunch. You're going to say, is this significant at the 0.01 level? Stuff like that. You're going to get used to this. Don't worry. Next one, I told you about the Uno deck. 108 cards, 24 red, 24 blue, 24 green, 24 yellow, and all the rest are black. If you don't know what an Uno deck looks like, that's basically what it is. The black ones are the wild cards, but whatever. Maybe you've never played Uno, it doesn't matter, because you can do the math. 108 minus 92, because you take all the colored cards, the red, yellow, green, and blue, put them together, you get 92. And that leaves how many blacks? There's, is that 16? Do I get 16? So there's 16 black cards, so the probability of being black when you draw or getting a wild card, basically. Yeah? Yeah? It's 96. It's 96? Should be 12. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, my bad. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll blame it on, I don't know what I can blame it on. There, so 12. Good job, AJ. And whoever else, I saw some other people raising their hands. Happens more frequently than it should that I get it wrong. I am getting older, and as we age, we lose brain cells. Okay, so moving on, flipping a coin 10 times, get 8 heads based on this experiment. What is the probability of flipping this coin and getting heads? Well, just 8 out of 10. Empirically, that's what we would say. I know you want it to be 1/2, but who knows? Maybe this coin is a fake, like a coin that is heads more than tails. I don't know. So we did an experiment, and there it is. Now, I suppose you might say, is this a likely or unlikely thing? Well, we can talk about that after we get into the statistics of the situation. Okay, so any other questions? Did I get them all right other than that one? I can't count, apparently. 24 times 4 is 96, not 92. Okay, moving on. Let's go back all the way up here to the one that I've called Quiz 8B. So I mentioned that a proportion of you, a large proportion, I should say, bombed this quiz or just didn't do it the way I was hoping. So I wanted to make sure we went over this so that when you do this on the test for me, you can do it right, because this sort of thing I know it seems like this is like this narrow subject, this empirical rule, but we're going to be using this over and over again, this idea, as the semester goes on. And you're going to see this curve. This is going to pop up on almost every test. No. On every test moving forward. Every single test, you're going to have curves like this. In fact, the next one, is it going to have a, I don't know if the next one is the one that has a ton of those, but you'll have these everywhere. So let's go ahead and see if we can do this. Humor me and do it the way I'm about to do it. I realized that when you do this on Newton, you can get away with like skipping a bunch of steps and just writing down the answer. But humor me and do it, write it out, show all your work, in other words. So here's the work that I'm hoping you show me. And like I said, this is going to be super important a little later on. So the first thing is I've given you a normal curve, and you're supposed to, well, it doesn't say you have to do this. It will say you have to do it a little later on in the semester. So, oh yeah, and then the dollar sign here. Oh, here's why the dollar sign is there. It's because when I write my quizzes, they look like that. And so let me go get rid of the dollar sign. Where is it? Yeah, so it's all coded in here. Here we go. Let's get rid of this. There it is. There's that dollar sign. And here's this one. There it is. Now save. And then I'll render the quiz. So it's rendering. But anyway, so that's why, if you're wondering, how could you leave the dollar sign in? Well, it's because there, now the dollar sign's gone. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, getting back to this though. So the first thing to do whenever you have one of these mound-shaped, what we're going to be calling normal distributions, is to actually take that mean, stick it in the middle. Humor me on this. Do it. Put a 120 in the middle. In fact, since all of these refer to the same situation, let's put 120 in the middle of all three of them. Whoops, 120. Next thing to do, and this is less important in the future, but it's very important when we're doing the empirical rule, and that is to mark off the standard deviation. So the standard deviation is 6.25, and notice that I've got these little lines here. I know they're faint, but I put them there for you, to help you. So let's do this. 126.5, is that what, 6.5? No, 6.25. Okay, 126.25. We put that in there. That's going to be the first marking, and then add another 6.25, and you get 132.5. Is that what we got? I sure hope that's what, yes, I do. Okay, and then let's subtract 6.25. This gets a little bit tedious, but you have calculators, and I know you love to use them. So this is going to be 113.75, and then 107. Did I get that one right? AJ will help me out because he's the one that's going to call me out when I get an arithmetic error. Very good. Okay, so there, mark it off. And now that I've got it marked here, I could copy this down here. I'm not going to copy all those numbers because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to write all that again. Although I have the technology where I can just do this, can't I? Copy, and paste. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, well, there it is. Well, that's unfortunate. There we go. Look at that, yeah. Paste it down here, too. All right, now I feel better. Now I've done it all. Okay, but anyway, now getting back to the problem, it says, what percentage of students are between 107.5 and 132.5? Now, in the future, like I said, I didn't say you had to do this here, but in the future, there are going to be quizzes where I say, label and shade the curve. Here's what I mean by labeling and shading the curve. You've got it labeled, and it says between these two numbers. So between those two numbers is this stuff right here. So you can shade all that. There we go. Now, before we go on, take a look at what I've shaded. And in your mind, give an estimate. What percentage of the entire curve has been shaded? It's almost 100%, isn't it? It's a big percentage. And so if you gave me an answer of 3%, you should hopefully be able to say, wait a minute, that's not 3%. That's a big number. So there's that one. Let me shade the other two just to show you how this works, and then we'll go and get our answers. So this is less than 113.75. So I've got the 113.75, and then this is down here. So once again, you can sort of visually look at that and say, you know, that's a small percentage, maybe 20%. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. We'll find out exactly how much it is in just a minute. And then the next one, between 101.25, ooh, where's that? I guess I didn't put it on here. 101.25 is down here. That's 3 standard deviations, and then 120, that's right here. Okay, so that's going to be this stuff right there. All right, so we're so far so good? Okay, the final step is to apply the empirical rule. The empirical rule has these 3 numbers. Let me remind you of them. They are 68% is this, and then 95% is this, and then 99.7 is 3 standard deviations. So those are the 3 numbers you have to remember. And once you have those remembered, you can go back here and say, wait a minute, that's 2 standard deviations, and 2 standard deviations is the same as that one. It's 95%, according to, so 95%. If you did this one, I hope you got 95%. If you didn't get 95%, hopefully you see why it's 95% now. You can do it. You can do this. It's going to be all right. Okay, next. What about less than? Ooh, this one's going to be difficult because I'm going to have to do a little bit of arithmetic here, but I think we can handle this. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know, that is kind of related to, ooh, that's a terrible 68. That's kind of related to this 68 here. And the reason why I say that is because if I were to draw this line right here, you can see that this is 68% in the middle. That's not my answer, by the way. That's just what's in the middle. Now I have to actually think about this and work out, well, 68% is in the middle. The stuff on the outside must be 32, right? So the stuff on the outside that's here and here collectively is 32%. But I only have the stuff over on that side, not the stuff on the right. And so that's going to be 32% divided by 2, or 1/2 of 32%, so 16%. So if you got 16%, you're doing great. So if I were to like try to evaluate like which of these is the hardest, this one's pretty easy because you're just remembering those 3 numbers and you're picking the one that's appropriate. This one's a little bit harder, isn't it? Because you have to take that number, 68, and do something with it, and do quite a bit with it before you get the final answer of 16%. So if you've gotten this one, you're doing great. If you didn't get this one, don't fret. You're learning about it. That's okay. That's what we're doing here. And then the final one I think is the hardest. Well, for one thing, you're going off, it's almost off the chart, isn't it? Okay, so that one looks similar to this, because notice that here you go 3 standard deviations this way from the mean. This is 3 standard deviations that way. And so here you have the mean, and you've gone 1, 2, 3 standard deviations. So there's 3 standard deviations. However, we're not doing that whole region. We're doing just half of it. Oh, wait, that's the answer, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we will take the whole thing. So if we go 3 standard deviations on both sides, this whole thing, how am I going to do this? How about this? There is 99.7% going all the way both directions, but we only have the half that's down here. Oh, so that's actually not as bad as I thought. 99.7%, you're going to do half of that, and that's going to be 49.35%. There? 8, like I said, it's 49.85%. Yeah, definitely. I don't know what's happening with my brain cells, but thank you for helping me out there. But now we got it collectively together. So if I had used a real calculator, not this one that's apparently glitchy in my brain, I probably would have gotten it right. All right, good job. So hopefully this helps you out. You will, in 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks, can you believe it? There is the next exam. You will have these questions almost exactly like this, but instead of having IQs measured in dollars, they will be measured in just IQ points. So you'll have something very similar to this on that test. So be ready for that. Okay, next, we're moving on. We're going to be doing some Excel. This was recording. Very good. So this is a little bit of a potpourri, a little bit of a review of things we've done already. So boot up your Excel, get it going, and thank you for humoring me and going and getting computers and charging them up so that they work. This particular, what we're doing today is actually kind of easy, not bad at all. Let me find the thing that I need here, just a sec. Here it is. Okay. Okay, so here it is, and so I'll wait till you're all ready to go. Let me just show you where we are, though. On our Moodle site, you will find midway down the screen, there are classwork Excel files. So this is the second one, and you have basic statistics in class Friday, October 4th. And included there, by the way, is some data that you gave me when you did the survey. So you'll see when we get there. So I'll give you a minute to get booted up. Once you've got things started up, you're going to want to download this file. So click on that, grab it, put it, wherever it is. Make sure it's on, I think I mentioned this before, make sure it's somewhere that you know where it is. So if you're using a school computer, if you've got one that you've borrowed, then you're going to want to save it somewhere, but then move it to your OneDrive so that you have access to it. I don't know if these files, after we do them, will be useful to you in the future, but just in case, like if you're doing your homework this week and you're like, what did we do? How did we do that? You can always find that. So download it. It should be in the downloads folder after you've downloaded it, and then open it in Excel. I'll show you what this looks like. And I'll give you a minute. As always, if you're stuck or you can't figure something out, let me know earlier rather than later. It's always discouraging when at the end of class someone comes up and says, oh, I got stuck when we did that thing at the very beginning. Yeah, maybe you did, but now you're stuck forever. So, because it's nice to have the formulas, I guess is the thing. So just pause for a minute, make sure we got everything. And at the top of each of these, yes, sir? It's dead?
I charged it like the other day.
Do you not have your charger with you? Wait, is there not a charger that we can plug it into? Just a minute. Oh, I can't do that. Wait, do I have a charger? Does it have a USB-C charging port? I gotta remember to always bring an extra charger now. That's so irritating. No, it's tragic. Okay, well, yeah, if you don't have your charger, I guess you'll just have to look on with someone else.
I have my iPad.
That might work. For today, it might work, because today is kind of like less intensive stuff. Yeah, give it a go. So I'm so sorry that that you not only, you tried, and now it's so sad. So thank you for trying at least, though. So hopefully we can get things squared away. So today you probably could have gotten away. Those of you who humored me and got laptops, you probably could have gotten away with doing this on whatever device, because it's not too intensive. There's only one thing that we're going to do that Calvin probably won't be able to do, but you can look on with someone else for that one. Okay, so first things first, mean, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. This is all pretty straightforward. So we're just going to blow through this really quickly. So the mean, I'm just going to write these down over here just so that I have a place to put them. So the median and then the mode. Whoops. I think we've done some of these already, but I want to make sure because they are on your homework for the weekend. Standard deviation. Okay, so that's going to be so long that it's going to be a problem. I'm going to make this. You can always grab these cells and drag it over. So grab the little line between the cells and make it a little bit bigger so that it encompasses the entire word. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the whole word, which you might not care about. Okay, so these things are really easy. The only one that is different than what you would expect is the mean. The mean in Excel is average, so which may not be that surprising. So you do equals average, and you know the drill. You want to highlight your entire data set. Wow, I did it so quickly. I'll explain how I did that so quickly in just a minute. But here's what you should have is equals average. Put it somewhere over here. Average, and when I do the median, I'll tell you exactly what I'm touching with my fingers on my keyboard, because I hate the mouse. I try to only use the keyboard. That's part of the reason why my quizzes look the way they do, is because I can just type them up without having to touch my mouse, and then it looks good when I get done. So anyway, so there's average, and then you have A3 to A54 just means I want to average together all the numbers between this cell and that one way down there. So stop me if you're stuck, otherwise I'm going to assume that this is pretty easy. This page especially, and the next one isn't too bad either. Okay, so there's average. I'll tell you what I'm doing here. This is going to be median, open parenthesis. Ooh, we didn't have quartile. We'll do quartiles as well. Anyway, median, open parenthesis, and then I move the arrow keys. So here, arrow, 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 up arrow. So I go to the top of the water bottle. Now, with this hand, I hold down the shift and control with these two fingers, control shift, and then I press the down arrow, and it magically finds the bottom of the column of numbers. Then I let go of everything, and then I press close parenthesis. And if you go up here, you'll see that it's figured out exactly what it wants to do. It's the median of those numbers, and you should get this, 30. Let me just go ahead and fill in the rest of these. Well, actually, no, we have to pause when we get to variance. The mode is also the same thing, so arrow, 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 control shift, down arrow, close parenthesis, enter. So there's my mode. So those three numbers, not surprising, easy to compute. Just wanted to make sure that we know how to do it. So we'll get to the harder ones in just a minute. Okay, so for variance and standard deviation, there are two ways to compute these, and it depends on whether you're dealing with a population or a sample. Most of what we do in statistics, most of what we do is going to be samples. So because of that, the variance and standard deviation, we will use the sample version, not the population version. However, I think maybe on Newton there may be one or two places where it tries to trick you and it says you have a population and here are the numbers. Then use the population version. I'll show you the difference here in just a minute. So here's what you do to get variance is you type equals VAR. Now if you do that, you might notice a little pop-up. You probably can't see mine, but let's see, can I remember how do I do this? There, is that gonna zoom in? Yes, that zooms in, okay. So, oh wait, where'd my, where does the, okay, there. Okay, so it just, so still it's so small you can hardly see it in the back. But if you do VAR, a whole bunch of options come up of things that it's thinking, do you mean this? And then if you put a dot there, it's like either var.p or var.s. I'll bet you can guess which one is the sample and which is the population. The top one is the population variance, the bottom one is the sample. They are almost exactly the same in terms of their calculation, but since this is a sample of water bottles, I'm going to use var.s, and then I do this little trick again, where I go back, 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 back. Come on. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, it's because I changed. What was it? A3 colon A54, was it? I don't know. Well, let's do that. Let's hope for the best. And then here, I'll just check this. Is this one? Yeah, A3, A54. How nice. Okay, so that's that one. So there's the variance. So variance is this. And then, of course, you probably can guess what the standard deviation is. It is STDEV. So you can pronounce that however you want. But then again, you have the same deal where there are two options. So put a dot there and you pick the one that is appropriate. And it will be the one that is the S. And then the same thing, A3 colon A54 was it, I think? Yeah. And there, I got 9.42. And of course, the standard deviation is the square root of the variance. So you could have just done the square root, the squirt, SQRT, of this number, and you would have gotten this number. All right, so this is all pretty basic. There's two other things that I forgot to have on this list that we'll do, but just want to make sure, pause for a second. Anyone stuck or any complaints? So we're okay? Okay, okay. I guess you guys are figuring it out. Good. Now let's do quartiles just for completeness. Oh, we can do min. So we'll do the 5-number summary. Q1. We've already got the median up there. So let's just do Q3 and the max. So let me just, I think we've done min and max before, but just in case, here's how that shakes out. Let's make this big again so you can see better. There we go. Okay, so the min, or no, this is the minimum, yeah. The minimum is min. And then, of course, just whatever it is that we're doing, A3 through A54. Hit enter and you get the minimum, which of course is right up there at the top. You can see it, the 8. Quartile 1. So this is going to equal quartile. Uh-oh, I spelled it wrong. And when you do quartile, you'll notice that it comes up with two different versions, exclusive and inclusive. This is such a nuanced, it really doesn't matter which one you use. I think that to be consistent, I think it's the inclusive one that Newton uses, but don't quote me on that. You know, if you get it wrong, you can always go back and fix it, because Newton, basically, you know how it works, is everyone gets 100 on the homework. It's just, I mean, it's a tragedy if you get one wrong, because then you have to spend a little bit more time, but eventually you'll get it right. So I think inclusive is the one. The difference is whether you include or exclude the endpoints for various mathematical reasons. You would choose one over the other, but I'm going to use inclusive. So this is the same thing, A3 through A54. I know you can't see, there it is. There's the A3 through A64, or A54, and then you have to tell it which quartile. I want the first quartile, number 1. There it is. So here's what it looks like. This is the first quartile. Oops, can't see the whole thing, darn. Maybe I'll just zoom back out. There, now you can see it all. So quartile, inc, is, and then you tell it what you want, and it's the first quartile. For the third quartile, it's exactly the same. In fact, let's just see, can I copy this and paste? I have to copy the whole formula and paste it in there, and then change this to 3, because now this is the third quartile. Yeah, there it is. All right, not bad. And then, of course, the max, you can do equals max, and then the same deal, A3 through A54. All right, we're all happy, aren't we? Well, maybe. We'll see. So, and yeah, and so Calvin, are you still happy? Does yours do all this? It does. Okay, there is a place where Calvin's not going to be happy anymore, but you can look on with Cooper. Okay, very nice. So any other complaints? So on your homework, you'll have this sort of thing. So that's not bad. Let's go over to grades, because grades is kind of interesting. What I have here is, I have some grades. So let me explain where these grades came from. These grades came from 2 years ago. So this is, I dug out my grades from 2022. This same exam, of course, the problems were slightly different, but not that different. And you'll notice I had clubs and spades on that exam as well. And these are the the scores. So I don't think that there's any way for you to identify who's who. I was teaching 2 sections at that time, section 2 and section 3. I think section 2 was in the morning, like you, and section 3 was in the afternoon. So it would be kind of interesting to compare section 2 with section 3. So what I'd like to do, let's not bother with all of these things. I want to make the box plot. I think you can handle doing all of this, and if you had to, you could do all of that for these grades. That's not a big deal. But let's go ahead and compare section 2 with section 3. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, and you could do the same thing to compare clubs with spades, But over here, I'm going to make a new column, and I'm going to call this one Section 2. And over here, the next column, Section 3. So we'll set that up. Once you've got that, there is a way that we could have Excel sort these grades and put them in the right column, but I don't want to go through the trouble of that because this is such a small data set. Let's just go ahead and highlight either with your mouse or with, like I just did, holding down the Shift key and going down the column, highlight the grades for Section 2, copy them, and then go over here to Section 2 and paste them. So hopefully you know how to copy and paste, but if you don't, I can go through the whole Control or Command C and Control or Command V is what I use. Okay, so there's my Section 2 grades, and then of course you can go down here and grab the Section 3 grades. So this is all of the rest of the grades are Section 3. Highlight the Section 3 grades, and here's what it should look like when you're done, is 2 columns, Section 2, Section 3. Let me zoom out just a bit. Let's see if we can see the whole thing. Okay. It really doesn't, you can't see the actual numbers, but your spreadsheet should look approximately like this, where Section 3 was a little larger. As you can imagine, if you have a choice between having me at 7:50 a.m. or having me at 2:10, you're going to choose the 2:10 if you have a choice. Some of the students didn't, so they're stuck in the morning. So there it is. There's those grades. Zoom back in so you can see. So far, so good? Okay, so what I wanted to focus on here, on this one, is I wanted to focus on this last thing. I'm confident now that you probably could do the other things. We can go back and do them in a bit, but I want to get the box plot. I want to show you how to do a box plot. And here I think Calvin is going to be sad because I don't think that the iPad will do this for you, but you'll have to let me know. So here's how I'm going to do this, and so check this out. This is actually quite nice. Is I'm going to highlight the entire set of data. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so maybe I need to zoom out so you can see what's been highlighted. So it's just the Section 2 and Section 3 data. I'll zoom back in. Whoops. Oh no. I've got the circle of death. Ooh. Come on. Go back in. What's going on? Oh no, not responding. Okay, I think I've killed it. I zoomed out too far. I've gone to infinity apparently. Okay, I'll just wait a sec and then I'm going to give up and restart. Sorry about this. Yeah, so maybe before yours crashes, you should, maybe I've got a virus in my code. But before yours crashes, you should save it. Take this moment while I'm trying to regroup here and save your thing somewhere where you know where it is. Whoops, what just happened? Okay, I think I'm good now. Why is it doing this to me?
You can use the zoom in slider in the bottom right.
Well, but I've got the circle of death. Okay, I'm gonna force it to quit. Come on. Sorry about this. Why? Why is it doing this to me? Oh, here we go. It's loading finally. Okay, I'm coming. There we go. There's my thing. Give me a sec. I got to get back to where I was. Let's see. Sorry about this. Let's do this. Open up that. Okay, where we were grades. Okay, just a sec. So it'll just take a sec. I'm quick. Copy that, stick it here, and then let's try again. Copy that. Stick it here. Almost done. Sec 1 and Sec 2. Oh no, it's Sec 2 and 3, wasn't it? Section 2, Section 3. Someone else, Dr. Kwan was teaching Section 1 that semester, I think. And everyone wanted his section, but some people got stuck with mine. Okay, so now what I do is I highlight the 2 columns, all of the data. Oh wait, feedback? Hold on a minute, what does this say? How much did it impact my work? It was highly disruptive. Okay. Anyway, okay, so here we go. So you've got your 2 columns highlighted, including all the data and including the titles, Section 2 and Section 3. And then we go up to the graph insert. So insert, let's see, can I do, maybe it's because I keep zooming in. Is that why it's having trouble? So you click insert. I thought I hit zoom, just a minute. Try again. Oh. Here we go, here's my zoom. Okay, so you click insert up here on the ribbon, or in the, whatever this is called, and then there's various charts here, but just click recommended charts, and then when that comes up, you can see you've got some options here. You want to choose all charts. So choose the all charts from that, because the ones that it's giving you are not what you want. And then on the left, you'll see that, at least for most of us, there is an option, box and whisker. Box and whisker is what you want if you want a box plot. So we can click box and whisker. It's beautiful. Click it. Oh, look at that. That's so nice. Just a minute. Let me get rid of my zoom. It's annoying me now. So there it is. Click OK. Show me what I've got. Sorry, it's over here. Click OK. There it is. Now you can mess with the chart title. You could mess with the axes. For example, why is this axis so large? I don't know. Let's change that axis. We can change it from, let's say 50. No one got below a 50 on the exam. And then I can go up to maybe just 100 because no one got more than 100. 100. So we've got that. You'll notice also that Excel automatically computes outliers. So you got this one little dot here, this outlier at 55 for Section 3. So it looks to me like Section 3 is smarter than Section 2. Probably not. Alana, what do you think?
The Macs don't have the all charts option.
Oh, the Macintosh doesn't have all charts? Ah, irritation. Okay, just a minute. Let's see. So when you click insert, is there like a little, here, just a minute. Is there this little arrow here?
No.
And you don't have all charts?
No.
What a ripoff! But you have all of these up here?
I think that should be it, one, right?
It looks like if you go to the the blue line one, I think it's the histogram. If you click on that and you go down, it says box whisker. Not that one, but the.
Oh, so you've got to dig through these to find the right one? What a pain!
Not that one.
Not that one. I know.
Right of that.
This one? Oh yeah, there we go. Interesting. Why? Oh, but wait, there's more statistical charts? What if I do that? Does that give you this? Well, I guess that if you're suffering with a Macintosh, apparently Noah's suffering, so he's leaving. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to go crush the people up in Michigan because, what is this statement? We don't, no, we don't, we do love Michiganders. It's not that we don't give a darned about them. I was always puzzled by that when my kids were little. Okay, enjoy. Wait, you're leaving too?
Yes.
You're going with him?
Yes.
Do you have your bats with you?
Not on me, no.
But you have 7 of them?
No, I have one.
Only one? Oh, you must feel bad. I'm sorry. Okay, well, I hope you crush the competition. You can always watch the video to see what shenanigans we get into after you leave. So, okay. Anything else? So, thank you, though, Alana, for alerting me. I make fun of the Mac people, but it's only in love that I make fun of you. I know that you're important as well. So, But you've got it now, Alana? Okay, good. So apparently just, if you are on a Macintosh, maybe I should learn. Maybe I should borrow one, because Briar has one from down there, right? I could borrow one, and then I could learn about how they work. But for now, I'm just thankful that it works somehow. Okay, so there it is, so you can compare these. All right, we just have 2 more tabs. Let's get her done. Okay, so z-scores. So what is a z-score? Well, a z-score is a way of taking someone and saying, how crazy is this person? Okay, so let's first of all, we need to get a few numbers here. So go over to the age tab, and the age tab, you can, on that tab, we can compute the mean age and the standard deviation. So we're going to compute both of these. You know how to do this now. So these are your ages. These are the ages that you submitted, at least those who took my survey at the beginning of the semester. So this is going to equal average of the entire column. And however you want to do that, you can do it. You should get 19.149. Here's my formula. So if you don't want to highlight, you can just type it in, and there it is. And once you have the average, you can do the standard deviation. So stdev.s. When in doubt, use the .s version, because most of what we do in statistics is a sample. So then you should get this for the standard deviation. So that's what that looks like. I'll pause for a minute and see if you have any questions about how that works. So all of you hopefully have those 2 numbers. Okay, wait, this thing shut itself off. Give me a sec, because I need to use this. Okay, here we are. Just need to write a formula down. So let me write the formula down on the iPad, and that is the z-score. So we'll come right back, don't worry. Z-score. I don't think we actually had this formula here, so let's do it now. The z-score is equal to x minus x bar over s. So what is that? Well, that's the, so this is your observation minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So that's literally what it is. And what this does for you is it gives you an idea of how crazy you are. For example, I'm 73 inches tall. Average for men in America is 69 inches. Standard deviation is 3. My z-score is 1.33. 1.33 is not very crazy. If you take someone else, I had a student a couple years ago who was 6'7". 6'7", that's crazy, because 6'7" is 6'7", just a minute, that's going to be 79 inches. So 79 minus 6, that's 10 is the difference in inches from the average, divided by the standard deviation gives you 3.33. He was over 3 standard deviations above average. That's crazy. Well, it's not that crazy, but it kind of tells you how normal you are or abnormal. If you have a z-score that's close to 1, or no, close to 0, it means you're very close to average. If your z-score is really big, either positive or negative, it means you're way far away from average. So let me leave this up here. Can I? No, I'm not going to leave it up there. I'll just do this. Give me a sec. If I do this, and I do this. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Okay. So I know you can see there. Now we've got the z-score over there, close enough. Just a minute, I'll just shrink that one more bit. Okay, there's my z-score. Here's my, my data. And so here's what I'd like to do here and on the next screen is I would like to compute the z-score for a particular person in this class. So z-score for the person who is the oldest. Let's see, the oldest. I guess I need to know who the oldest person is. So let's do that. So the max is going to equal the max. I need to know who's the oldest. And let's go find these data. There they are. So there it is. Apparently the maximum is 26. So the z-score for that oldest person, that 26-year-old, and I don't know what class that 26-year-old is in. That 26-year-old might be in this class, might be in one of my other classes, because remember I did this survey in all of my classes. So to get the z-score, we're going to use that formula over there. Now be super careful though, both on your calculators as well as on Excel. What you need to do is you need to say equals and put parentheses around the numerator of this thing. Here's what I mean by this, is right here, parentheses. Otherwise, when you type this into Excel, it's going to do whatever x is minus just the mean over the standard deviation. That's not what you want. You want to do the difference and then do the division. So keep in mind the order of operations. So we'll do parentheses, and then let's see, since I have the numbers right there, I could just go, sorry, E5 minus, the mean is this number, close parentheses, divided by standard deviation is that number. Excuse me. So notice that that formula can be, you can encode this. Pardon me. So I got 4.31. That's really big. That's even bigger than that basketball player that I had who was 6'7" in terms of the z-score. You could do the same thing for your z-score. You could say, okay, what's my z-score? Let's compare myself to this elderly student, whoever that is. So maybe you're 20 years old. Let's say you're 20. Just put a 20 there. I know that's no longer the max. But notice it'll just automatically change. So the 20-year-old, your z-score is 0.53. If you put in my age, let's see how bad I am. Whoa, 22. That's terrible. Okay, let's go back to 26. Now, what this really does for us, though, you might say, well, why do we care about z-scores? Well, for one thing, this is going to, you're going to see this formula right here is going to pop up. Whoops, that's not right. There it is. There it is. That formula, you're going to see it show up over and over again after the break, because every statistical test we do after the break is going to involve something that looks just like this. So get used to this sort of form. Oh, it's time to go, Drat. Okay, the other thing that it does is it allows you to compare two groups. So who's more crazy? You'll get that on your homework, though. I think, even though we haven't talked about pets, you can do the homework. So have a great weekend. I'm going to stop the recording if you want to talk to me.